Hello everybody. In this video we're going to rock this activity, graphing cosine and sine right here. Now, first things first, graph this equation y is equal to sine of x. Now normally in Ferris wheels there's a number right before the sine here. And that's our radius, that's our amplitude. But if there's no number there, I want you to ask yourself, what's the invisible number right before that sine? And if you said 1, then you are good to go. So we have a radius of 1. That means that at our maximum height, I'm just going to draw a little Ferris wheel right here because I feel like it. At our maximum height right here, we'll be at a height of 1. And at our minimum, we'll be at a height of negative 1. So I think that's going to help us figure out what our maximum and our minimum is going to be. Our maximum is going to be right up here. I'm going to kind of make a dotted line right here at this one throughout my graph. So this I'll call the maximum. And this negative 1 is going to be our minimum right here for this graph. Now, what I didn't say in the instructions, but what I want you to do is actually also mark the midline. The midline is just that length, that line right in the middle of our graph. And this one's going to be right in between 1 and negative 1, which is at 0. So I know that at 0 right here, I'm going to put another dotted line, and that's going to be my midline. And I'll label that right over here. A little arrow, midline. Okay, so we have our maximum, we have our minimum, and we have our midline. Now, sine right here, as we've been figuring out, is our vertical position or height. Vertical position or height. So I know that at 0 degrees, right here, the writer, their height right here is 0 feet as well. So I know that at 0, I'm going to put a big old point at 0, 0. Now, my next quarter, my 90 degrees, right up here, I know that my writer's at the top of their height, at the very tallest height, or at our maximum height, at 1. Now, if we go to our next quarter at 180, if I go down to here, I know that I'm back down at the ground level at our midline, right here at 180 degrees. If I go down to 270, right here, I know that my writer's at a minimum height, the lowest height possible, right here. And at 360, I know I'm coming right back up to my midline. So I have these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points happen with my nice curves. Remember, don't do straight lines, please. And here we go. And I'm going to go the extra mile. I know that after 360 it's going to start again. So it's at 450, it's going to go up here. And at 540 it'll be back down here. And at 630 it'll be down there, and that's where I'll stop. But it's good to know that we don't just have to go for one cycle from 0 to 360. We can go for multiple if we want. Okay? So that's the graph of y is equal to sine of x. Now, question number 2 right here. Question 2, for this graph y is equal to cosine of x. Now this one we're just getting used to here. This one, instead of the vertical position, cosine is going to give us the horizontal. The horizontal position. Or this one in my brain is the x value. Okay? So again, there's a number in front of our cosine that normally means our radius, and since there's no number there, we can assume that the number that goes right in there is a invisible 1. So we now have an opportunity here to look at this Ferris wheel. So if my writer starts where he always starts, right here, and if this Ferris wheel has a radius of 1, and this right here is 1, this distance is a negative 1, I'm sorry, this height is 1, but actually at this line right here, there's no horizontal distance. There will be a horizontal distance of 0 here, because it's right on the y-axis. I want to make sure I make that clear because I messed that up. this point right here at 90 degrees is at 0 feet in terms of value. It's right on the y-axis, okay? So let's start here at where the rider begins, at 0 degrees. At 0 degrees, we have a rider that is actually a full 1 unit away horizontally. So the x value is 1, therefore at 0 degrees, we're going to start right up here at 1. Okay? Now if we go up to 90 degrees right here, at 90 degrees, we just talked about it, that has a horizontal position of 0. So at 90 degrees, the cosine will be 0 right here. At 180, if we go all the way over here, we go to the far left of the y-axis, and remember, left means negative, so we know that it will be a -1 right here for our cosine at 180 degrees. So 180 degrees, we'll go right down here to a -1. If we go all the way to 270, we're right back where we were at 90, and this right here has a horizontal distance of 0. So at 270, we're back at 0, and at 360, we're right back where we started at 0 degrees, which means we're at the maximum horizontal again, so at +1. So 160 or 360 can go right up here. So this graph, if we add some curviness to it, is going to look like this right here. Now, I just realized now that I didn't mark my maximums. I should always do that. My maximums right here will be at 1, and then my minimums will be right here, and then my midline, because there's nothing being added on at the end of that cosine, my midline will be right here, right in the middle. This is my midline. Okay, let's see if I forgot. Keep going on here, but I want to save your time and just leave it like that. So the last question here that I want to talk about are the main similarities and the main differences of sine and cosine. I think the big difference I want you guys to see is the starting position. The starting position. I want you to pause the video right now. Where does the sine start? So at 0 degrees, where is the sine, the vertical position of the rider? Pause, think about it. So if we look up here at sine, our vertical position starts right here on the x-axis, which is 0. It starts right at 0 here. 0 feet or 0 units, whatever our units are. Sine starts at 0, or we can call this, more importantly, this is the midline. Actually, that is kind of the more important point to a drive home here. It's that sine starts at the midline. Cosine, however, does not start at the midline. Where does cosine start, everybody? If you see that at 0 degrees, cosine does not start down here. Cosine starts at our maximum, and that's a very important point to drive home. Maximum right here is where our cosine starts. Now, if you want, you can think about how the sine and cosine, both have an amplitude of 1. Amplitude of 1. They both have a period of 360 degrees. There are lots of things that we could say here, but these are the most important. Try the next page on this activity. Thank you very much, guys.